Conventional wisdom tells us that it's difficult to find affordable cars today in the 2020s, when in reality there is a good amount of cars under $30,000, but are they enticing, are they appealing, or are they even well equipped? Usually that's where the answer is no, no, and of course no. But Subaru has one car in their lineup, the Subaru Impreza, and more importantly, the base trim that is well equipped, that is practical, but also has some tricks up its sleeve that makes it a compelling choice in this market. In today's video, we're going to take a quick look at the 2024 Subaru Impreza Base, see what it's offering at a base cost under $25,000, and to see why, if you are on a stricter budget right now and you want a brand new car, you want a car that is safe and practical, but more importantly affordable, maybe taking a look at the Impreza might be a great decision. Now, before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Subaru of Wakefield in Wakefield, Massachusetts for letting me come down here to check out the Impreza Base. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Subaru inventory. So in typical fashion on this channel, let's begin with pricing. The model we have today is the Base, coming in at just under $23,000. Now, what does $23,000 actually get you? Well, up front, you will have steering responsive LED headlights. That is standard across all trims for 2024. Actually, that is standard across all models right now in the Subaru lineup. Unfortunately, you are not going to get LED fog lights. That is reserved for the Sport and RS. Then as you make your way over to the side profile, there is one accessory, one add-on that we have here for our car today, and that is the aluminum alloy wheels, replacing the steel wheels that come standard. And I know a lot of you are going to go with this wheel package because it makes the Impreza look a bit more upscale, and also who wants to have steel wheels for their car. For the side mirror caps, you are going to have more of a satin black look here. They are folding, so if you do live in a city area and you park your car on the street, you can fold those mirrors so that way no one drives by and hits them. Now, you're not going to have blind spot detection or rear cross traffic alert for the Base. That is reserved for higher trims for 2024. Found up top, you will have the mounting points for your crossbars, so if you are going on a bit of a road trip or you just want to tie some things down, you can do so with the Impreza Base. Then as you make your way around to the back, nothing new here for 2024. In fact, unlike up front where you have the steering responsive LED headlights, the taillights are not LED. So just keep all of that in mind, but that isn't too much of a surprise for a vehicle in this price range. Then before we take a look inside the Base, we do not get keyless entry here. Now, you can lock and unlock your Impreza from this key fob, but you're not going to have a push button start. So if you like the old school look of just having a physical key, the Base might appeal to you. Once you step inside the Subaru Impreza Base, you're greeted by manually adjustable cloth seats for both the driver and passenger. Now, if you're waiting to hear that these seats are heated, well, unfortunately, I have some bad news. If you do want heated front seats, you'll have to go with the Sport trim and an optional package, which comes with a power moonroof and some other amenities. But since we do have the Base, what you see is what you get. There's no optional packages or accessories for this model. But for these seats, for a Base trim, they actually provide a decent amount of comfort and support, and I think on longer drives, you won't be complaining at all when you are behind the wheel for 2 or 3 hours. In front of you will be a tilt and telescopic steering column to customize the placement of the steering wheel so that we have additional comfort for those longer road trips. In front of you will be analog gauges with a small information display in the center, and by using the buttons on the steering wheel, you can scroll through a variety of information such as your time, outside temperature, digital speedometer, also of course what's playing on the radio, tire pressure monitoring system, and your fuel economy statistics. Better yet, and this is fantastic to see for a Base trim and for a car that comes in under $25,000, you will have lane centering, but also adaptive cruise control. And typically you don't see that in this market for vehicles in this particular price bracket. On top of all of this, you have a long list of safety features that includes the EyeSight driver assist technologies. So if this is going to be your first ever car and you want to have that safety and you want to have that peace of mind, this most certainly has it, but also, of course, for someone with a younger family, this is a great choice. Then quickly taking a look at the user interface, you will have dual touchscreens for the Base trim. So unlike the RS and Sport, which gets the 11.6-inch touchscreen, which is now found in a number of Subaru products, here you have more of an old school layout, which I know some of you actually might enjoy and love a bit more. It should also be worth mentioning that with this user interface, you do not have wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto compatibility, so you will have to be using that USB-A outlet that is only available for the Sport and RS trims for 2024. So beneath the main head unit for the top screen, you'll have quick access buttons below to get you to different menus efficiently, such as your radio, your media, your home screen, phone, and apps. Then outside of those screens will be a similar layout to what you have with the 11.6-inch screens. So you have physical dials for the volume and tuning, physical buttons for the front and rear defrosters, and yes, dual zone climate control. So for a car under $25,000, you're receiving dual zone climate control. That is a standard feature across all trims for 2024. Now, taking a look at the top screen, this will function like the StarLink user interface that was found in prior generations for the Impreza. So this actually might be second nature to use the minute you hop in for the first time. So from here, it's an easy screen to get used to. You have your valet mode button, you have the ability to add shortcuts, and on top of that, you will have the icons for your app settings, phone, radio, and media. So you have dual functionality with this screen. And then, of course, as always, you will have a rear backup camera, but one thing that isn't typically found in this market is trajectory. So that will give you better peace of mind when you are backing into a tight spot or you're parking on a city street. Then for the bottom screen, it primarily controls your climate control, but also your vehicle settings as well. So you're going to notice your vehicle control tab, driving assistance, more settings, and then your auto start stop button, which that can be turned off with the press of that icon. So first, taking a look at your vehicle control tab, you'll have your vehicle dynamics control. So that's basically traction control. You can turn that on or off. Your cruise control acceleration speed, you can leave that at standard. Your auto vehicle hold button, and then you can turn off your steering responsive headlights. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Taking a look at your driver assistance features, you will have your pre-collision braking system. You can turn that on or off. I'd keep that on, especially if this is going to be your family vehicle, or maybe this is going to be the car you're giving to that younger driver in the family. And then also lane departure warning as well. Again, a nice feature to keep on for that extra assurance when you are on the highway. And finally, for the more settings tab, you can adjust the warning volume, your units of measurement, and then once again, the auto start stop feature. Then at the bottom of the screen is for your AC controls, your fan speed, and then your direction of that airflow. Then as we make our way towards the center console, again, you will find that USB-A outlet and auxiliary input, a nice storage compartment for a smartphone or a wallet. Then for the center console itself, you'll have your standard gear shifter here. Also, of course, an electronic parking brake. Since we don't have the Sport or RS trims, we don't get the switches for those two-level heated seats. You'll also find two cup holders, a 12-volt outlet, and then rounding out the front seating area for the center storage compartment, there's plenty of room for smaller items, such as a couple water bottles, maybe even a couple smartphones or other smaller gadgets. Then for passengers in the back, they're actually going to be sacrificing quite a bit here if you go with the base trim, because yes, you are going to have these cloth seats that are very comfortable. They provide a decent amount of support for the backs as well, so you can sit back here pretty comfortably. Also, of course, with this being a hatchback, a good amount of legroom, shoulder room, and headroom. But outside of that, outside of the intangibles, there's no creature comforts, there's no amenities. So with the base, you're not going to have a USB-A or USB-C outlet back here, so passengers in the back will not be charging up their phones or iPads. They're also not going to get center-mounted air vents, and they're also not going to get a center armrest with two cup holders. If you want some of those features, you got to go with the Sport. But with the base being designed solely for its affordability, its practicality, and just being a great vehicle for someone who has a budget below $25,000, this is going to be a vehicle primarily for the driver and maybe even the front passenger. Whereas for people in the back, this is going to be suitable for a smaller family. But I think that if you do have taller passengers or older passengers sitting in the back, you're going to want to go with the Sport. Then as we make our way around to the back, let's take a look at the cargo area for a minute. Since you do have a hatchback, you're going to receive right around 20.5 cubic feet of room, which is very competitive in this market. So you'll be able to store all your items back here, no problem, if you are going on a road trip with the family. Now, we do not have a cargo cover installed on the base trim. That is going to be an accessory that's going to be very easy to install. You're also going to find some cubbies on both sides of this rear cargo area, So if any smaller items such as a couple water bottles, car detail equipment, or maybe even a first aid kit, you can store them there and they won't be swaying around when you are on a winding back road. Then beneath the floor mat, you are going to find a fix-a-flat kit, so no spare tire for 2024 for the base trim. In regards to performance for the Subaru Impreza Base, you get a 2-liter boxer 4-cylinder engine producing 152 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque. As always, this powertrain is paired with the CVT. But one of the main selling points to buying a Subaru Impreza Base is the fact that Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive does come standard. So if you do live in a colder region of the US and you encounter snow 2 or 3 months out of the year, going with the Impreza over its rivals, which are primarily front-wheel drive only, would be a wise decision. Now, in regards to ground clearance though, with the Impreza you get 5.1 inches, whereas with the Crosstrek, you get 8.7 inches of ground clearance. So if you are somebody looking for a year-round daily driver that maybe you can go off-road with, the Crosstrek would be the better choice between the two. But on top of everything we've discussed so far, whether it is the pricing, the interior features, or overall practicality with the cargo space behind the second row of seats, the Impreza is multi-dimensional, where you also get great fuel efficiency, 27 miles per gallon in the city and 34 miles per gallon on the highway. So when you're factoring in a sub $25,000 price range and also a car that gives you super symmetrical all-wheel drive, and now you're throwing in that fuel economy, this car is a great choice if you are on a stricter budget and maybe you're looking at purchasing your first ever brand new car. While going with the Sport or RS trims will give you amenities such as heated front seats and also wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, keep in mind here that with the base trim, with the 16-inch alloy wheels that we have here on our model, ride quality is actually rather fantastic. Now, of course, this isn't going to feel like a Subaru Forester or Subaru Outback, so you are going to hear some of the road noise, some of the engine noise, but in regards to just driving this car around on some poorly paved roads, it handles the bumps pretty well, so it's actually rather comfortable. Then for handling and cornering, steering is light, but pretty responsive. And as we enter the highway here, let's get on throttle. And you can safely merge at highway speeds. While I still like the 2.5 that you get with the RS trim, the 2-liter is still capable and competent. All in all, for Subaru's most affordable vehicle in the lineup that doesn't have the 2.5, doesn't give you all the creature comforts and amenities, it is still pretty well equipped. And more importantly, for a base trim for 2024, this is a vehicle that feels very substantial once you step inside. It can be fun to drive around in the city and suburbs. And also, it doesn't feel cheap either, so it's a win-win all around. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video for the 2024 Subaru Impreza Base. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys next time.